Good morning, Southwest students. Today we're going to focus on day 31 AMI activities. But before we get started, I want to kind of give you some information. So you're going to have one assignment per day that counts for 4 core classes. So each day you will have one assignment and it will count for English, social studies, science, and math. Okay? So before we get started, let's read the note at the top. To support your work, talk with an adult, sibling, or someone you know from school before writing. By talking, you can develop your ideas and discuss new words. The language supports are italicized and are meant to help you get started. Please be sure to check in with one of your teachers by email or Google Classroom. So if you have any questions, please reach out to a teacher via email and we would be more than happy to help you. Okay? So there's going to be different videos for this activity. I'm going to read the AMI packet. So the big idea for this week is how has your family been affected by the pandemic? So day 31 is going to focus on my home community, my family before, and my family after. And remember, this one assignment counts for English, social studies, science, and math. Okay. Article analysis. This week, you will reflect on how COVID-19 has affected your family. But first, you will read about how it has affected other families. For today's assignment, read the article Alone No More and complete the questions. You'll learn about how more families are adopting pets than ever. So in order to make this video short, I did a separate video reading the article to you. So if you want to hear the article, you can click on that link and it will read. You can read along as I read it out loud. Right now in the news, there are many articles that include graphs and other data representations. Take some time to look at them carefully and talk about what they represent and how they are organized. Is there anything you notice or wonder about them? What can you infer from this? What does this make you want to know more about? How does this relate to your life as a family? And then you can click on these two resources and you can see two graphs. The Washington Post graph is very cool. It's interactive. It shows you how the pandemic is spreading, and it's very interesting. So right here we have one graph to look at, and then there's another graph here and another graph here. So this one is states that are better and worse at social distancing based on changes in distance traveled. Okay, so you are going to answer the questions. This data makes me wonder, blank. The graph illustrates or shows, blank, and I wonder, blank. Then you have a final product entry for day 1. How has your family changed during this pandemic? Use information from the graph analysis and the pet article to respond for your final product. So you might start, during this pandemic, my family has changed by blank. And then your instructions say develop your product with relevant, well-chosen facts, definitions, concrete details, quotations, and other info and examples. Okay, so when you're writing your final product or however your final product is looking, make sure to include those things at the bottom. All right, as always, if you have any questions, please reach out to your teachers via email or Google Classroom, and we would be more than happy to help you. Good morning, Southwest students. Today, I'm going to go over the slideshow for days 31 through 35 of your AMI work. So today in this video, I'm only going to focus on day 31, but the slideshow will go from day 31 to 35. Okay, so here's some notes for you, just some extra information. So your work for days 31 through 35 will count for all of your core subjects. So this one day of work will count for English, social studies, math, and science. It can be completed on paper. However, you must take pictures of all your work and email it to all of your core teachers. So last week's assignment, you only had to email to your English and social studies teacher. But this week, you need to make sure that you email it to your math and science teacher as well. So if you email it to your English teacher but not your math teacher cannot grade your work because they don't have access to it. So please, please, please make sure that you email it to all of your core teachers. Or if you don't do it on paper, you can do it in Google Slides. You will need to answer the questions throughout the slideshow and complete the Google form, which is the final product entry for each day, which will be linked in each day's slides. Okay, so you'll have one Google form per day to complete, and it's linked in the slide, and you'll see it as we go through it. So the big idea for this week, days 31 through 35, is how has your family been affected by the pandemic? So this whole week, we're going to think about this question and hopefully come up with an answer. So everything for day 31 is color-coded in red. So as you're going through the slides, if it's a red slide, it's day 31 and you need to read it. If it's a different color, that's a different day. So don't worry about that one today, okay? So my home community, my family before, and my family after, okay? So for today's assignment, you're going to read the article Alone No More and complete the questions in the Google form linked in this slide. So you can see some links in this slide. Here is the article. If you click this link, it will take you to the article. Here's another link. If you click this link, you can listen to me read the article. So you can click this link and read. You can click this one to read it. You can click this one to hear it being read so you can follow along. Okay. Then here's the Google form that you're going to need to complete. And this is slide 5. So if you get off track on slide 5, okay? Remember, once again, you need to share your answers with your core teachers. The Google form will automatically send your answers to your email address. You will need to forward that email with your responses to your English, math, social studies, and science teachers. Here is a video to help you with that. So if you remember how to do it from social studies, just make sure you add your math and science teacher. If you can't remember how to do it or you've never done it before, I made a video that will show you how to do it, so you can just click this. If you know how to do it, you don't have to watch this video. If you don't know how to do it, please watch this video, okay? So if you looked at the AMI packet for this week, you saw some graphs. So here's the graph from the AMI packet. I put it in this slide. And then here are the links to the other 2 graphs. This COVID-19 simulator is very cool and it's interactive, it moves, and it's cool. So I would definitely recommend looking at all 3 graphs before you read the article, and then you'll be able to answer the Google form. So after reviewing the graphs and articles on the previous slide, consider these questions. You are going to answer these questions on the next slide. So pay attention as we go through these. Is there anything you notice or wonder about the graphs? What can you infer from the graphs? And infer means to understand or conclude. What do these graphs and articles make you want to learn more about? How do these graphs and articles relate to your life as a family? So your answers might look like this. The data or information makes me wonder blank. The graph illustrates or shows blank. I wonder blank. Okay? So here is the chance for you to write your answers. So you will have a copy of the Google slides so you can edit these slides. So you will write your answers to these questions here. So for number 1, here's your question. You're going to answer down here. 2, same. 3, same. 4, same. Okay? So write your answers to those 4 questions there. And then if we go to the next slide, this is the last slide for today. When you get to the final product entry slide of that day, this is assigned to you that it's the last slide for the day, okay? So for today's assignment, you will answer this question in your Google form linked on slide 5. So we are on slide 9 right now. So to go back to slide 5, you would just push the back arrow to slide 5, and then here's the Google form. Now, if you do the Google form here, you will have already answered this question, so just bear with me here, okay? How has your family changed during this pandemic? Use the information from the graph analysis and the Alone No More article to respond for your final product. Your answer might look like this. During this pandemic, my family has changed by blank. Develop your product with relevant, well-chosen facts, definitions, concrete details, quotations, and other information and examples. Okay? So this is the end of today's assignment. But if you were working hard and you didn't realize that, when you go to the next slide, it says day 32 and it's a different color. So this is the indication, oh, I need to stop here because I am done for the day. So when you see the next slide change color, that's an indication to stop. Okay? If you have any questions about the Google form, the Google slides, the AMI packet, how to send your answers to your other teachers, please reach out via email to your teachers and they will be more than happy to help. Okay, so now that we've gone through the AMI packet, we've gone through the Google slides, let's take a quick look at the Google form that you're going to complete for today. So, AMI Day 31 assignment, mine says teacher copy because I made a copy, so my responses won't be sent to your teachers. So, in big bold or in big capital letters, it says you will have to send a copy of your responses to your core teachers. We will address that at the end of the video. Once you submit each day's assignment here, it will email you a copy of your responses. You need to then forward that email to your English, social studies, science, and math teachers, okay? Your email address, which this should be your email address, will be recorded when you submit this form, okay? So let's start with the first question, which is always the easiest question, your first and last name. So make sure you put your first and last name because we have several students that have the same first name and we don't want to give somebody else your grade, okay? First question, who is your English teacher? Since I am an English teacher, I am going to click myself. So I am Perkins, that's my English teacher. Who is your math teacher? Since I'm recording this for 8th grade, I'm going to pick an 8th grade math teacher, Miss West. Pick your math teacher. Same for social studies. Who is your social studies teacher? And science. Who is your science teacher? All right, those questions easy, done, moving on. So, use the following article, Alone No More, to answer the questions that follow. Each section of article is chunked with the question that goes with that chunk of the article. So I made a separate video reading each chunk and each question, so I'm not going to do that in this video. If you want to hear the article read to you again, go to slide 5 of the Google slide presentation or click on the video in your Google Classroom and you can hear that part read again. Okay? So to keep this video as short as I can, I'm just going to read the questions to you one more time. Okay? So chunk 1, read the underlined section, which is right here, and then answer the question. Why do you think the author compared pets to needed supplies like toilet paper? Your answer might look like this. The comparison shows that blank. I think that this comparison illustrates blank. So if you've seen my videos before, you know I always put ASDF as my answer. You, on the other hand, are going to write the correct answer because you want to get a good grade for this assignment. But I don't want to put an answer in, so I'm just going to put ASDF so I can keep going. The second chunk of the article, I read this again. What is the main idea of this section? Use examples from the text to support your reasoning. So the main idea is blank. The article states blank. This means that blank. So when it says the article states, I would like it, and I'm sure your social studies teachers would like it, if you would find a quote from the article that supports your main idea. Okay? And there's my trusty ASDF answer. Chunk 3, what is the problem many shelters are facing? Why do you think they are using pet fostering to address the problem? So your answer might look like this. A problem that many shelters are facing at this time is blank. Pet fostering helps blank. I'm sure you saw this one coming. ASDF. Chunk 4. What is the main idea of this section? So we have another main idea question. Use examples from the text to support your reasoning. So follow the same instructions above. The main idea is blank. The article states blank. Find a quote from the article that supports your main idea. This means blank. Shocker. Put ASDF one more time. Chunk 5. How is pet adoption meeting both a family need for many people while also meeting a community need? By adopting pets, families are able to blank, while communities benefit because blank. ASDF again. And then opinion, this doesn't have a right or wrong answer unless you just totally say something that doesn't make any sense, okay? What has your family done to feel less alone or isolated? In my household, we have done blank to feel less alone or isolated. So just tell your teachers, what have you done to connect more as a family or connect more as a community or neighborhood, okay? And this one has another page, so make sure you click the next button so you can move on to the last question, okay? And this is your final product entry for the day. So once you do this question, you'll be done with the Google form, okay? How has your family changed during this pandemic? Use information from the graph analysis and the pet article to respond for your final product. During this pandemic, my family has changed by blank. And develop your product with relevant, well-chosen facts from either the article or Okay, let me try that one more time. Develop your product with relevant, well-chosen facts from either the article or the graphs, definitions, concrete details, quotations, and other info or examples. So you can really add whatever you feel like in this answer. And I'm going to go with my trusty standby ASDF. And then a copy of my responses will be mailed to my email address. And I'm going to click submit. And as long as you've provided an answer for every question, you will be able to submit your answers. So the instructions now say, good job. Now send this form to your 4 core teachers. You will get an email with your responses. Forward that email to your math, science, social studies, and English teachers to submit to them. Okay? I have a separate video to show you how to do that. So if you need help sending this email to your math, science, social studies, and English teachers, just click on that video and it will give you instructions. If you have any other questions or any questions at all, please reach out to your teachers via email and they would be more than happy to help you.